My caution to you guys is, does money, fame, sex, power and position, does it perpetually guarantees happiness for you, or is it just a delusion? Everyone in here are college students. In the impending days, it is my stalwart anticipation that you guys will be either doctors, chartered accountants, engineers, architects, etc. So all of you can well contemplate on this topic. Most of us think that these are the only things that could perpetually grant us happiness. But this is one of the biggest, preeminent misconception, miscomprehension, and delusion. This concept is fundamentally fallacious and irrational. Although you could have all of these things in your life, you could still be stressed, depressed, and on the brink of committing a suicide. Let me just share a simple case study, a very succinct yet compendious juxtaposition and comparison between Elvis Presley and Narsi Mehta. I'm sure all of you might be acquainted with the name Elvis Presley and Narsi Mehta. Elvis Presley was one of the prestigious American actor and singer in the 1950s, 1960s and mid-1970s in the United States. And Narsi Mehta was a stalwart, staunch and dauntless devotee and aficionado of Lord Shri Krishna in the 14th century. Elvis Presley was considered and contemplated as the king of rock and roll. He was one of the significant cultural figures in the 20th century. So let me just share a very succinct juxtaposition between Elvis Presley and Narsi Mehta. Elvis Presley was exorbitantly famous when he was alive. Mike Stone, the biographer of Elvis Presley, writes that Elvis was the second person upon earth to become famous by his first name after Jesus Christ. Narsi Mehta, forget about him being famous. He was considered so insignificant, trivial and inconsequential that people, whenever they saw him, they belittled, castigated and denigrated him. Even his own family members despised and derogated him. Elvis Presley, whenever any president and prime ministers of other countries sojourned United States, they always aspired in having a confabulation with Elvis Presley. Even the prime ministers and presidents of other countries considered themselves to be felicitous if they had a confabulation with Elvis Presley. Narsi Mehta, forget about people meeting him. Even if people saw him, they used to spit and sputter on him just to exasperate him. Elvis Presley, whenever he woke up every single morning, there were approximately 300 to 400 people standing in front of his mansion just to have a glimpse of Elvis Presley. Narsi Mehta, at one stage in his life, he even did not have a small chalet to live in. Every single day, Elvis Presley was invited to live concerts. And every single day in his live concerts, Elvis Presley used to throw and fling his leather jacket in the audience, and people would exuberantly and exhilaratingly try to get his leather jacket. People were so much solicitous and voracious in getting his jacket that as soon as Elvis Presley threw the jacket in the audience, it was teared and ruptured into pieces. And if someone got even a single piece of his jacket, they used to consider themselves to be very felicitous and used to stockpile his jacket as if it was Elvis Prasadam. Narsi Mehta, he was never invited to any of the live concerts. He used to sing bhajans solitarily just to please Lord Krishna. Elvis Presley, when he was alive, when he was merely 21 years old, there were 78 products in the market under Elvis Presley's name. For example, Elvis clothing, Elvis jeans, Elvis perfume, Elvis footwear, Elvis clothing, etc. When Narsi Mehta was alive, there were none of the products under his name. There was nothing like Narsi's footwear, Narsi's perfume, Narsi's clothing, Narsi's jeans. Narsi Mehta himself did not wear jeans. He himself did not have proper clothing. He himself did not apply any perfume. That's how much famous, prestigious, eminent and conspicuous Elvis Presley was. He was always in the limelight. Narsi Mehta was never in his limelight. Elvis Presley was exuberantly wealthy and affluent. For each concert one night, Elvis Presley used to charge approximately 130,000 US dollars, which is equivalent to approximately 700,000 US dollars today. Elvis Presley's self-made money was approximately 500 million US dollars. Narsi Mehta, he did not have any money at all. He even did not have money to perform his son Shamal Das' wedding. Elvis Presley used to own a private jet plane, a diamond-studded limousine, and whenever Elvis used to go out, his limousine was followed by a cavalcade of 7 other limousines. Narsi Mehta, he did not have any vehicles or any cars. He used to peregrinate from village to village, barefoot and discalced. Elvis Presley thrived with all these lusty and filthy desires. None of his sexual desires were left devoid. He dated approximately 15 famous women. He had myriad girlfriends. Narsi Mehta, he did not date any woman. He did not have any of the girlfriends. He was married to one woman, and any woman other than his wife he considered either to be his mother, sister, or daughter. Narsi Mehta did not look at any woman with filthy, lusty, or salacious desire. Despite being at the pinnacle and crescendo of all the worldly pleasures, when Elvis Presley was composing one of his famous compositions, How Great Thou Art, one of his managers asked him, "Sir, how are you feeling?" Elvis Presley, putting both of his hands down the piano, said, "Extremely lonely." Narsi Mehta, although he was devoid of all the worldly pleasures, he never felt forlorn, desolate, or solitary. He never felt stressed, depressed. Notwithstanding all this, a distressing, disgraceful, formidable, and a dreadful event occurred in Elvis Presley's life. On August 16, 1977, at the age of 42, Elvis Presley died. Although it was claimed that he died of a heart attack, medical records claim that a suicidal combination of prescription pills was found to be in his system. Some even attribute his death to the stress and depression caused by his dissolving image. For Narsi Mehta, the word depression, stress, and suicide was blisteringly far away. Although Elvis Presley was at the crescendo of all the worldly pleasures, he still felt forlorn, solitary, stressed, and depressed. Although Elvis Presley was not devoid of even a single worldly pleasure, he had money, fame, power, prestige, everything, he still felt devoid of bona fide, veritable, genuine happiness. And although Narsi Mehta did not have any of the worldly pleasures, he was devoid of all the worldly pleasures, he still never felt devoid of bona fide, veritable happiness. Where does the difference lie? The difference lies in one significant thing. Elvis Presley was devoid of one preeminent thing in his life, and that was Elvis did not have staunch faith and love in God. The reason Narsi Mehta was thriving with exuberance and delectations is because he had that staunch, stalwart, and dauntless faith in God. He was thriving with magnanimous, exuberant, and exhilarating love in God. He had that magnanimous faith in God. Remember, money, fame, sex, power, and position can only buy you possessions, not happiness. Only God is the supreme proprietor of all the bona fide happiness. Hence, only His magnanimous shelter can bestow you perpetual, bona fide, veritable, and genuine happiness. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shuchaha. In the end, it was a magnanimous, congenial, and amiable delectation and exaltation being here. May Lord perpetually bestow you the grit and fortitude to scuffle all the impediments in your life. Jai Sri Swaminarayan to everyone. Jai Swaminarayan.